Ladies and gentlemen, Roster Watch Nation, welcome back to the epic Roster Watch Podcast, brought to you by RosterWatch.com. My name is Alex Dunlap here, of course, with the Trashman. So happy to be back with you guys after a little break of getting week one going. Of course, we're into our in-season content now with the Waiver Wire cheat sheet and some of the other products and the other podcasts you'll be hearing here on the feed. So Trashman, they got us back. They got us back. You're gonna have to deal with us. It's a big week.
It's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, it's a big week on the waiver wire this week. Of course, you can get a pro membership at RosterWatch.com to get access to the waiver wire cheat sheet, snap counts, touches, and targets. I put the matchup tool up a little bit earlier. The Vegas tool is going to be updating throughout the course of the week. The DFS cheat sheets, everything else. With a premium sub, you can also get all the betting insights, all the picks from the algo. Everything like that. So check it out, rosterwatch.com. All right. Lifelong Horn says he made a trade minutes after my draft. DeAndre Hopkins for J.K. Dobbins.
Oh gosh.
now I need an RB2 or RB3 replacement. I've seen CMC, Pacheco, and Javonte Williams. Should I go after Kelly or Kyron Williams? Go after Kyron Williams. Okay. Do you want to start there, Trashman? Let's start with running backs. Sure. So basically what the cheat sheet has, Trashman puts this thing together. I just do some quality control on it before we put it out. Added a few guys earlier, changed around a few of these tiers because Trashman's always a little bit cockamamie with how rash he wants to be with going after these guys. But I do think that the guys we're talking about, if you're in a spot like lifelong Longhorn here, and you did lose like a J.K. Dobbins or you lost
Aaron Rodgers.
It's just I'm trying to think mainly running backs. If you've been going without say like Jonathan Taylor or something like that. If you just feel like you're in a bad way, or if you had been depending on somebody like an Antonio Gibson or somebody like that really disappointed in week one as maybe an RB3 or flex type that was kind of a frontline flex guy for you. I'm getting bad vibes about guys like him. Getting bad vibes about guys like James Conner, just with how bad that basically everybody in that game is kind
Arizona wasn't as bad as I thought they might have been.
Yeah, I worry about Conner. I know he had 4 or 5 targets and he had almost 20 touches. So it wasn't like the usage wasn't good. I worry so much about that offense. I think that he could just end up just turning it off at some point. Say, hey, no, I'm out. But let's say you're in one of those spots. I think that 15, 20% of your budget is probably fine to go for these guys. Certainly, Trashman, they're worth blowing your waiver priority on. I think this week, if you're in that kind of spot, if I had the number one waiver priority in a league and you're in one of those and you don't have free agent acquisition budgets, would you pick up Kyron Williams, who you have listed as your top? It feels to me like he's the top pickup, and the reason why is let me look at the snap counts tool
of running backs. Yes,
yeah. For sure.
There's an argument overall with Puka Nacua, but
I think so too, right? And we'll talk about Puka Nacua, but as far as Kyron Williams, man, he played 65% of the snaps. And people will say, no. Well, Cam Akers scored a touchdown. He had 22 carries. He had 22 touches in the game. Didn't have any targets, by the way, but that was because just completely unbeknownst to me or anybody else. The Rams go in and they kick Seattle's ass. They have like garbage time and stuff, and that's when Cam Akers got in. It was wild to see. Kyron Williams is the starting running back for the Rams, and even though they weren't a good game script in this game, he's the back who you want to own for teams who you think are going to be kind of bad, who are going to be playing in losing game scripts.
Well, I've always hated Cam Akers as a running back in the NFL. So
yeah.
I'm all in on Kyron Williams.
Yo, Minion Hunter, how are you doing, brother? John Deba, only 5 bench spots, had JK. Should I put more of my fab than 20% to get Kelly or Justice Hill? I'm not sure I would go 20. I'd say 15% or something for a Joshua Kelly. Justice Hill is more in that kind of, I think that with these running backs, you can go up to 20, right? If you want to get to Kyron Williams, you can go to rosterwatch.com, look at the exact waiver wire cheat sheet, the exact order here. I would think if Tyler Algier was available in your league, and he's right there on the precipice, I think he was owned, and it was right there. Trash. What is it? Is it available in 55% of leagues or owned in less than 55%? What's your threshold?
It was 5,500, but he was right there at 56.
Okay, so I mean, Algier might be one who I would maybe consider moving up there to get. But then again, man, we could look back at the week one and just say, dude, they're going to have to get Bijan more involved in these scoring situations. Algier's not going to score 2 touchdowns.
Well, the thing is, their passing game is so, it's so inadequate. I think they're going to have to rely on both of these guys. I think they're going to lean heavy on this running game. I think we're going to see them both retain value.
Or there's some OL
on the waiver wire. Can't go.
Kip C. So many OL got hurt this week. Yeah, I don't know. Is Dalton Reisner still out there as a free agent, or did somebody sign him? I guess I did. I haven't paid much attention to the OL signings over the last week. It's been so busy. Would you rather trade for Jahmyr Gibbs or Kenneth Walker? Right now, I'd rather trade for Gibbs because I can probably get him.
You can get him lower.
Yeah, cheaper. Just say like, dude, he only played 26% of snaps. Like, why do you want that guy on your team? He's David Montgomery's backup. That's what you tell the guy, right? Anyone thinking about a Ravens running back? Remember that Keaton Mitchell will be eligible to return after week 5. Keaton Mitchell, certainly one of Cody Carpentier's favorites during the draft process, a real dog award winner. I'm not, I'm of the mind that, and I know that Minion Hunter is a giant Ravens fan. With these, I'm not breaking the bank for Gus Edwards or Justice Hill, or so maybe if you wanted to pick up Keaton Mitchell and stash him, that's an awfully long time to do a speculative stash on a guy that is not going to be back till week 5, and once he is, the situation could have revolved itself, or he could come back and he's just not any good. You know what I mean? It's a long time for a very, very speculative stash into a really, really, really busy running back room there, especially if something happens with Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon was not on the original cheat sheet that we put up this morning. I've updated the cheat sheet to where it has Melvin Gordon on there. I've also updated it to where we put Zach Moss on there. We'll talk about that in a second, but certainly not the highest priority guys, but as long as we're talking about the Ravens, Melvin Gordon could still be in play. He could get called up. And then I just think, who's to say that they don't call Kareem Hunt, Leonard Fournette, one of these dudes? Seems like a real possibility to me. So I'm not blowing up to 20% of my budget on either Gus or Justice Hill, just because the fact of the matter is it's going to be a murky situation from week to week as it is. It was weird last week to see, and maybe Minion Hunter talks about this. And thank you, Minion Hunter, asking to please take 1 second and hit the like button. We appreciate it, brother. Thank you. You guys should hit the like button. What's up, guys? What's up, Jamie Pirog, A Mackey, Kip C, of course. Great to see you guys. Brian C. Brian C, we'll get to your question. I actually, we're just kind of answering it. Justice Hill got the goal line work. Did he have 2 touchdowns?
He had 2.
Yeah. So, but that's not going to. You have the Gus bus and you have little Justice Hill. I mean, it can be weird projecting that whole thing. It's going to be impossible to choose which one to start, and there could be an extra piece that sort of gets added into it. So I think, of course, it's waivers. You got to pick them up and see what happens. But this isn't the one where I'm completely just breaking out the pocketbook and saying, this is a, Ken Walker 2022 kind of pickup here, right? It isn't that kind of deal. I think that the most appealing right at the very top, though, certainly for the Rams, it was Kyron Williams. And remember, they wanted to use Kyron Williams like this last year, but he got hurt so early on. It's like they've waited for this. They don't care that he ran so slow at the combine and stuff. They think he's they think he's good. He pass protects well, and he's, big time leader at Notre Dame and everything like that. Man, it's like a lot of coaches just like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is Cody victory lapping Roschon yet? He'll start victory lapping Roschon once he gets done victory lapping Hayden Hurst. that should be sometime around Thursday or so. Let's see. Took Rojo in all the leagues. Drafted him in my rookie draft in Dynasty. Good for you. Lifelong Longhorn. I don't think that. I don't think that that's the worst idea. We certainly have to do that. Minion Hunter is saying, okay. Minion Hunter saying Fournette maybe Ravens need an RB for pass protection. Most importantly, then running and blocking. Ravens O-line is playing backup LT and center for the next while. So Fournette could make sense. Kareem Hunt's pretty good as far as pass protection. At least he was to start. I think it might have fallen off a little bit, they say, during the time that he was in Cleveland. So that's running back. Oh, the reason I added on Zach Moss, so there's these guys in the top tier. We've kind of hit on a few of them. Kenneth Gainwell, I think, is probably one of the few that I might go up to maybe 20% on. The only problem with him is that he is now questionable for Thursday night already.
Yeah.
And what if that gives DeAndre Swift?
I mean, and that's one of the things we worried about with Gainwell in the first place is just like, even if he is the starting back there, can he maintain that position? Can he?
Yeah, but I mean, he'll be more valuable to have than either of the Ravens guys, right?
Yeah.
So just Kenneth Gainwell, maybe keep him in mind. Roschon Johnson, we just talked about him. Pick him up if he's out there. I think in this second tier, like Tyjae Spears, if he's still out there, if somebody drops him. Go snoop there around and see if you can pick him up. Jaylen Warren, is he really available in this many leagues, Trash Man? I'm not sure. He's on the cheat sheet anyway. If he's available, yeah, you should go pick him up. Even though, God, that Pittsburgh Steelers offense looks miserable. I added on Zach Moss for the Colts. He was inactive last week. The reason I did was just I remember. Whenever I was, and I didn't see much this game. This was a game that
Warren's available in 47% of leagues.
Okay, this was not the game I had on on my monitors where I can watch the actual games on the YouTube TV. This is one so I just saw him on Red Zone, right? But every time they show Deion Jackson, I was thinking to myself, are they going to kick him off the team after this game? Are they just going to literally kick him off the team? He was so bad. Like, what were his final stats? I'll pull up the snap counts. I mean, it was miserable because he had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. It was a comedy of errors. He fumbled. I'm not sure he fumbled twice, but I'm pretty sure he put the ball on the ground twice.
He has to be moved over to the Giants automatically after this performance.
Dude, he got 6 targets, 18 total touches, and he turned it into 28 total yards on 71% of snaps.
Yeah,
bad. He is miserable, and Evan Hull got hurt.
Yeah.
And so Zach Moss was questionable to come back with a broken forearm. He wasn't announced out until Saturday, so at least until JT gets back, Zach Moss is going to be the leader in that backfield. Now, what's that worth behind a bad offensive line and with Anthony Richardson, cross our fingers. But we saw last week, he's not scared. He's not scared to run in these touchdowns from close in. He did get hurt there at the very end trying to run one in. But they say it's fine.
They say he could have come back in.
Yep. This is true. Hunt has I think Hunt has he says domestic violence in his background. Hunt will never be a Raven, not after Rice. That makes sense. It's I think for the YouTubes, I think legally we just have to say alleged domestic violence, even though I'm pretty sure that was on actual video. I'm not sure, but alleged domestic violence in the old background there says Minion Hunter. That makes sense. Maybe Fournette. Here's the thing, Trash Man. If it's Melvin Gordon, I hate that anyway. Melvin Gordon is a total dust ball. It's like all that's going to do is going to peel off seven touches and 1 target per game, and that's it.
I think they'll just start dialing out more design runs for Zay Flowers.
How about? All right, so you just got to it. How about big play Zay? How about him? We said during the draft season, it's like you don't have to squint to close your eyes and see him become the number 1 wide receiver for that. Now it's like you have to open your eyes to even like you have your eyes closed if you don't know already that he's the number 1 receiver, dude. Just right off the bat, dude. Zay. So good, man. I was so worried about the passing volume for him and thought it was going to be a real swindle of a landing spot, but they're just going to give him the football, man. It's certainly awesome. If he's out there in your league, he would be my top pickup. I don't think he's out there in any of your leagues. Anybody else at running back you want to hit on before we get to wide receiver and quarterback, tight end? Then we'll talk about you guys have questions in the chat about who you can drop. Ask them in the chat, and I will write them down. I've already taken a list from some people on RosterWatch that have asked us questions. But if you guys have questions about asking Trash Man who he would be comfortable dropping for some of these players, put them in the chat, and we'll get to that part at the end. Trash Man, anybody else at running back before we talk wide receiver?
No.
Okay, so did you see it coming for Puka Nacua? I just didn't see it coming. I think if there's anybody out there who said that they saw this coming, they're just lying to you. I thought that Puka Nacua is a good player. I liked him at the Senior Bowl. I think he's fine. I even at the Senior Bowl, remember I said he's kind of a poor man. He looks like a poor man's Cooper Kupp. We talked about it at the draft broadcast. It was interesting that he went to the Rams whenever we had kind of had that classification on him. But next thing you know, and he could have gone even bigger, right? There was the one play where Stafford couldn't get him the ball, but it would have been a touchdown. He had 15 targets, 10 receptions for 119 on a 78% snap share. Tutu Atwell also went.
Yeah, Tutu. I mean, if you can't get Nacua, Atwell's not a bad consolation prize.
Here, the most important thing to remember with this is that a lot of people, when we're talking about the Zach Moss stuff and all this, or with Jonathan Taylor coming back, or these other plays that are going to be appealing until certain guys get back, or while certain guys are injured, or all the rest. Like, this could be an extended absence for Cooper Kupp, right? It's like he went to Minnesota for like a week to go look at this thing on his hamstring, and they checked it for nerves. And I would be interested to see Minion. I guess Minion Hunter wouldn't even know about this, because I think he's told me before that he works on mice and stuff. But he's like a neuroscientist. I would like, what does that even mean, Minion Hunter? Whenever like you go to get your nerves and your hamstring checked out, I don't know anything about I don't understand neurology, right? But it doesn't seem perfect.
Nerve damage been tricky to me.
Yeah, so it could be that it's a more extended absence than just the initial IR stint. And so, I mean, if that's the case, Puka Nacua, Tutu Atwell, they certainly outplayed. They didn't outsnap, but they definitely outplayed Van Jefferson, who had 5 targets, 4 receptions, 24 total yards in this game. It was a smash fest for those guys, man. As long as Matthew Stafford's healthy and Cooper Kupp is out, Puka Nacua, is he your top pickup this week?
I think so, unless you really need a quarterback because of the Aaron Rodgers thing.
Okay. All right. So we have a couple of so P. Ryan and Mike Evans for Jonathan Taylor, since he's going to play in week 4. Oh yes, I would trade those guys away for JT. JT's going to have to play. I was offered Stroud in a Superflex redraft for Puka last night. I couldn't hit accept and fast enough. What did you think about that value? So I was offered Stroud for Puka. I think that's fine. I think if Cooper Kupp's out the whole season, that could kind of come out as a wash. But Stroud's fine as Superflex. I think that's probably. I mean, that's fine. We love Jaden Reed and Tank Dell, but do we stay the course with them? Only saw the snap percentage with Tank Dell. I wouldn't try. I don't know if Trashman, you feel differently.
Did you watch the game?
Yeah, well, no, it wasn't one that I was.
There were
totally focused on.
There were a few targets that Stroud missed Dell on that would have been, I think, could have been housed.
But he's a backup.
Well, no, he's a third receiver. I mean, he's not in 2 wide sets, but that's something that we knew going in.
Well, but Nico Collins played 70% of snaps. Robert Woods played 75. Noah Brown played 68. Tank played 48. He's kind of the number 4 in a kind of bad offense. I think that you could. I mean, I would certainly be dropping Tank Dell for like Puka and stuff. It's like, Cody saying hold Dell. I'm not holding Dell for Puka Nacua.
I'm holding Dell. No, I mean, maybe not for Nacua, but generally speaking, if I can hold on to him, I will.
What's up, fellas? From Randy Miller, would you trade Zay Flowers for Montgomery? Current wide receivers are St. Brown, AJB, and Dotson, Elijah Moore, Zay Jones. Current RBs are Brees, and Etienne. Yep, I would trade Zay Flowers for David Montgomery. Who should I drop? Okay, who should I not drop for waiver wire? Pickens, Elijah Moore, Bateman, or Tank Dell. I mean, I would drop Bateman or Tank Dell. Maybe since you're a Ravens fan, just drop Tank. Just drop Tank.
I mean, Pickens is probably going to get a boost now that Deontay Johnson's
going to miss multiple weeks.
Miss at least this week, yeah.
Yep, for sure. Okay. wide receiver. It's just like, I mean, there's a whole list of these guys. We can't talk about them all. You can go to RosterWatch and look at the whole cheat sheet. Just remember also about Jacoby Myers. He got concussed at the end of that game. But, I mean, like Byron said from Raiders camp, you got to realize that he's going to be a big part of that offense.
Is he for sure concussed?
He looked concussed. He sure as hell looked concussed to me, trash man. I mean, I think I know concussed when I see it. But he had 10 targets in that game. I think he caught 9 balls for – he had 2 touchdowns, 81 yards. I mean, Jacoby Myers needs to be rostered. That's a really good pickup. What's this guy? Bronson Hayo trade Sutton for Zay Flowers. Oh yeah, for sure. Okay. Anybody at wide receiver? I mean, I'd say go pick up Jacoby Myers. Go pick up the Rams guys. Kendrick Bourne looking like he might finally be a guy who's getting some respect there with a competent coaching staff in New England. He actually looked pretty good, this last week. I think that he's somebody that's worthy of that, maybe topping out right at 15%, something like that. If you're in real need for these wide receivers, I think that that's probably fine.
An interesting stat. Zay Jones actually outsnapped all Jags receivers this past week.
Right. But he just isn't the player that Calvin Ridley is, though. Definitely sucks for Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk comes out in 2 wide receiver sets. It's just that's the way it goes. Should I trade Fields for Derek Carr, George Kittle, Dalvin Cook? Should you trade Justin Fields for those guys?
That combination.
I generally hate liquidation trades like this. I like to do but I mean, I think I would trade Fields for that.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like Kittle's going to be up and down, especially with Ayuk being his kind of.
And here's the thing. I do not want to be on the. I don't want to be on the liquidation end of trades. I want to be on the consolidation end of trades. I want to open up bench spots, and I'll make it to where I got to drop guys who I like, right? So for that reason, I wouldn't do it. Tell him if he wants to get Fields, like tell him that it's got to be, if you're going to liquidate, he needs to liquidate it to where I only have to drop 1 bench asset. It's like it's always a sucker bet to be able to be on the liquidation side of these liquidation trades. You want to be on the consolidation side, and when Byron starts doing the trade cast, he'll talk a lot more about that whole theory. JSN, Flowers, Elijah Moore, Darnell Mooney. Who do I start in my wide receiver 3 spot in Dynasty? Nikki Cunningham. I hate to tell you, but I have no idea right now. We're just doing waivers this week.
I mean, my initial.
I would definitely say you would start. Let me look at the matchup tool. I don't even have this weekend's games memorized yet, Trash Man.
You don't think Flowers off the top of your head?
I forgot who Baltimore has. Let me just see. I mean, what if Baltimore's playing like San Francisco or something? I'm not sure. Let's see. So this week, Baltimore has Cincinnati. I mean, they weren't super easy last week on Cleveland, but we don't just rely on this 1 week of data.
Hey, but Moore got off on him. I feel like Flowers.
Cleveland's got a good matchup at
hyped up version of Moore.
I mean, it's definitely not Mooney. Who does JSN have next week? Seattle. I think that's a good game versus. Oh God, that's at Detroit.
I'm not playing JSN over Flowers though.
All right, play Flowers. It's fine. Play Flowers, but make sure and come to the site and make sure and just ask us again later in the week. Okay. Thank you. Like, sub, Bill. Thank you, Nikki Cunningham. We appreciate it. If you guys can click to like and subscribe, man. I don't ask for that enough. Thanks to you guys for asking. Thanks for the Roshan Johnson love. Picked him up before last week. You're very welcome, Sean Roberts, and thank you to you guys. Seasonal 4th waiver, grab Kelly or Williams, Akers owner, or hold first with. No, you're gonna go get Kyron Williams this week. Sean Roberts with the 4th. Who would you guys target as a buy low trade after week 1? Jahmyr Gibbs from the Detroit Lions.
Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean Drake London
or this guy
Higgins.
T. Higgins. This is the Reese. I'm telling you, what's happening here is the person is selling super high on Ayuk, but trying to buy super low on Higgins. That would be an excellent pickup. I'd love to go pick up. I'd like to go pick up. Man, a bunch of like Darren Waller kind of failed a little bit.
Yeah.
I think maybe going and picking him up. That was never going to be a game script where he was going to do anything any good. Okay. Anything, speaking of Darren Waller, what about tight end? I think Hayden Hurst and Luke Musgrave are your guys. And if you drafted at RosterWatch, you probably would have gotten them at least as one of those two, at least as your tight end too.
Jake Ferguson also in Dallas. I think he led the team in targets.
Did he?
I believe so.
In a game script that'll never exist again. Let's see.
I don't know if Dallas's defense is as good as
he did, man. He led the team in targets, and he turned it into all of 11 yards. Good for him. Okay. Well, Jake Ferguson is fine, dude. But look, Musgrave's a G. Hayden Hurst is a G. Cody called it from the beginning. The one thing about Hayden Hurst this week is if you pick him up, I believe when I was looking at the matchup tool earlier, it's going to be a rough deal this week. It's the worst matchup for opposing tight ends this year. It was last year. It's the New Orleans Saints. So it's almost like if you pick up Hurst, you're not going to want to use him this week. And if you drafted him, you might need to kind of, put him to the side and just wait. Hurst is a big dog. I don't think that he's completely matchup proof though. Let's see. Did
you drop Marvin Mims for Puka? I would say so.
Marvin Mims? Yes, absolutely. Is Durham Smythe too trashy to pick up? I think it's probably a little too trashy for right now. But look, I mean, keep an eye on it. Trashman really liked him at camp, and if you watch that game closely, which that was one that I did have on one of the main TVs. Durham Smythe got at least 2 end zone targets. He didn't, So, can I ask week 2 lineup questions as well? Sorry, I don't want to hijack your agenda. You're not going to get great answers just yet. I'm sorry. Like, we just got the matchup tool up. We're talking waivers. We haven't done our first run of staff rankings yet. Cody's in the chat. So Trashman knows. I'm going to get those guys. I'm going to get those sent to you. I'll get the ranking sheet ready like 6 p.m. and get those sent to you guys, and we'll be able to go from there. I'll get the stats in for the model probably on Wednesday. And that's for nobody else except for Trashman and Cody. It's just for their planning purposes. All right, Trashman. And then defenses. I see you listed a few. I'm not even sure why you like these guys. But if you have any, I think that it could be, you could share them with the people. I'm not sure. I like
Tampa Bay's going up against Chicago. It's a pretty good matchup for them. They seem to be, a pretty decent defense based off of week 1. Cleveland actually played really well against Cincinnati. They are going up against Pittsburgh this week. Pittsburgh that's lost Deontay Johnson. And then Green Bay's at Atlanta. And we know how, Ritter
he's terrible.
He's terrible.
He is no good. I'm not sure he's ever even going to be that.
So Green Bay should be able to get off on him a few times.
All right. Let's see here. So wait. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I am RosterWatch's best value in the industry. We certainly appreciate it, brother. Your waiver picks this week have been Puka, Joshua Kelly, Michael Mayer, Zay Jones, and Jelani Woods. That's good. Is Jelani Woods still on IR though? I think he might still be on. He's still on IR. He went on IR. So why don't you get Sean Robertson? He's on the IR. So you might want to get him out. See if you can add Luke Musgrave. See if you can get him on board. Hayden Hurst, if you're looking to add a tight end.
I don't know. Meyer didn't really impress me in week 1. I don't think he got a target.
Yeah, see if you can get Musgrave, Hurts, Jake Ferguson, Hunter Henry, some of those guys. One of those guys will be available. All right, Trashman, let's get to the questions that people have. Can they drop them, okay? Can you drop them? Some tough ones here. These don't come from me, right? These are just from people asking. Can you drop Rashad Penny for these guys?
For one of the top picks, I think so.
Deion Jackson. Well, he's on the sheet, so just don't drop him for anybody that's not on. You can drop him for the people who are above him, right? Yeah. Even though in the tiers, you can adjust the tiers just kind of based on who you like or the kinds of players that you're looking for. Kadarius Toney.
No.
Van Jefferson.
Yes.
Devon A-Chain?
Yes.
CJ Stroud and non-Superflex? Yes.
Yes.
Marvin Mims,
Yes.
Chigo Okonkwo.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Ugh, that hurts, huh?
Yeah.
Jonathan Mingo,
It depends, but yes.
Damian Harris.
Yes.
All right, here are the hard ones. Drake London,
No.
Rashad Bateman. For
It
Puka.
depends, but yes. If you're dropping from Nakua,
That hurts.
Bourne,
Zach Charbonnet.
no.
And the big one. I can't believe this. Antonio Gibson.
No.